5 different stocks or ETFs that I basically buy almost on a daily basis as a 7-figure dividend growth investor. Now, as you can see throughout my long-term portfolio, I have all kinds of positions here, some ETFs, some stocks, some amazing companies, and some that I'm not so fond of. But overall, as time goes on, I find myself constantly going back to a certain few names and adding more and more shares to my portfolio as the days roll on. So if you want to see which stocks and ETFs that I buy on a consistent basis without even thinking too hard about it, make sure to drop a like down below, stick around, and let's get right into the first one. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So the first ETF that I try to buy at least 1 to 2 shares on a daily basis, and I have been doing this for quite some time now, is the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, or SCHD. Now, the reason I buy SCHD on a daily basis and don't even think twice about it is because the way that I think about it is SCHD is a perfect foundation for any dividend growth portfolio, regardless if you're interested in dividends or growth, or like me, a little bit of both. Now, this is because SCHD has a very diversified basket of holdings, popular names that a lot of us hold in our portfolios. And on top of that, SCHD has grown significantly over time, and ever since I started buying SCHD a few years back, the ETF is actually up substantially. Now, the other reason I buy this ETF daily and don't think twice about it is because it does have well above a 3% starting yield, but even more important than that, SCHD does have some historical dividend growth, which means at least if history were to repeat itself, I should be getting paid more and more income as time goes on. Now, of course, there's also other dividend growth ETFs just like SCHD that are also great, things like VOO, SPY, or even things like DGRO or DGRW. But as of right now, SCHD crosses off everything I'm looking for, which is why it's always on my shopping list basically every single trading day. The next position that I basically buy on a daily basis, and definitely have been as of recently, is SPY, or the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. Now, this is a covered call ETF that buys into the constituents of the S&P 500, sells covered calls, and also buys some SPX calls. Now, even though this ETF hasn't been around all that long, it's traded basically flat, which isn't all that bad whatsoever, considering this ETF offers around 11 or a 12% dividend yield, at least as far as the trailing 12 months. Now, SPYI has made a spot in my portfolio because I'm not only a huge fan of the S&P 500, I'm also a huge fan of writing covered calls. I write covered calls across my portfolio personally. But on top of that, SPYI is relatively tax efficient. It also has proved to pay around 47 to 50 cents every single month on time, which generates a ton of income for my long-term portfolio. Now, at least for me personally, as you guys saw, my portfolio will never be made up of like solely SPYY or any of these higher yielding names, but as of right now, this is a daily buy. I've been buying shares of SPYI without blinking every single day for several weeks now. Another position that I buy almost daily, haven't grabbed any as of recently, but over the last year, I bought Devo a ton. We're talking about the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF. Now, Devo buys a small basket of holdings, as of right now around 37 different holdings. Names like Microsoft, Caterpillar, the Home Depot, Visa, etc., etc. Names that not only pay dividends, but also have a tendency to raise dividends over time. Now, on top of that, Devo writes covered calls, and with the covered calls, it allows Devo to generate a ton of income for shareholders, even though a lot of these names don't yield all that high. Now, Devo since 2016 is up significantly, almost 55%, but on top of that, Devo offers a 4.5 to 5% trailing 12-month dividend yield, pays a dividend monthly, and overall is an awesome low beta position in my long-term portfolio. Over the years, I've gathered thousands of shares of Devo, and I definitely grab a few shares here and there. This is definitely on my daily buy list. The next stock on my daily buy list that I've been buying shares of almost daily for years now is ticker symbol O, or Realty Income. Now, I started buying Realty Income years ago because I wanted exposure to high quality retail real estate, but obviously, like a lot of smaller investors, I can't afford to go out and buy Walmarts or any of those sort of things, so why not invest in the next best thing, Realty Income, which owns some of the best high quality retail real estate across the world. Now, Realty Income over the last 5 years has been beat up like crazy, and this is at least as of recently due to the fact that the Federal Reserve still has not cut rates. But long-term, Realty Income is up substantially. Realty Income has been paying dividends monthly for several years now. And even since the time that I've owned Realty Income, I've been paid more and more pretty much every quarter. So much to the point to where when I first started buying Realty Income, I was getting like 21 cents per share per month. Now I'm getting over 25 cents per share per month. And that definitely adds up now, the fact that I almost have 2,900 shares. Say what you want about Realty Income, I could of course be wrong, but I think Realty Income is offering a massive buying opportunity for long-term dividend growth investors that want exposure to high-quality real estate, love getting paid dividends monthly, and love dividend growth. Now, the last ETF on my daily buy list, I haven't grabbed any of this one in a few days, but normally I'm always grabbing a share or two of the JP Morgan NASDAQ Equity Premium Income ETF JEPQ. Now, JEPQ invests in a basket of holdings, sells covered calls, and because of JEPQ's holding exposure, this ETF has grown like crazy over time, and I'm really proud to say that I started buying JEPQ in the mid-40s a while back. But it's not only the growth potential that JEPQ has, and of course the downside protection, which is due to the covered call overlay, but also JEPQ pays a massive dividend. We're talking 9% trailing 12-month dividend yield, and even though JEPQ doesn't pay the same exact dividend every single month due to things like volatility and option pricing, JEPQ's dividends have been for the most part consistent, with a few months that are outlier payouts, but overall JEPQ has been very, very impressive. Now, if you consider yourself a dividend, more income-focused investor, but you still want exposure to growth potential, JEPQ, honestly, in my opinion, is almost as good as it gets. So there we have it, guys. Those are 5 different stocks and ETFs that are currently on my daily buy list. And over time, I always add names in and out of my watch list. As of right now, I also have things like Main Street Capital on my watch list. I also grabbed a few shares of Triple N as of recently, as well as things like Enterprise Product Partners and others. But lastly, now I want to hear from you guys down below. Which stocks and or ETFs are sort of on your daily buy list where you don't even have to think twice about it? You just buy them when they're on sale and just consistently stack shares of? Let me know by commenting the ticker symbols down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.